Beyond just our population, which a lot of people say is our leverage, or we're the most populous black nation in the world, and we use that a lot. But some say, look, if South Africa, for example, were to also vie for the same position at the UNSC, or Egypt, or a country like Kenya also gave a very strong showing. They're pushing on the continent as well. There's Algeria, but especially Egypt and South Africa. Some people believe that if they also push for a seat, that Nigeria will not be able to stand against those countries.
There are different points that each nation leverages on, and Nigeria is in a good position to understand its strength and has made its position based on that. Let's remember that our population has never been anything that anybody can overlook because of the importance of the population. Aside the population, the stability that Nigeria represents in the West African zone means a lot. Don't forget that the issues of instability in West Africa, and you have the Nigerian situation where we have the most populous state, and then we are a stabilizing nation, a stabilizing state right here with our population. We do not say that we don't have our problems, but we are working on our problems. And we have a way. It's not, we have had situations where they will say Nigeria is at the brink of collapse, Nigeria is going to self-destruct, and it's been very, difficult times. But Nigeria has enjoyed a kind of stability because we are a people that are founded on very solid, calculated ideas. We are educated people, and we look at things properly, when we look at ourselves in the Committee of Nations. And again, let me come back to the history. That's the reality. And I come back to the history. We have always had boots on the ground for peacekeeping for years. And so that shows capacity. That shows military capacity that nobody all over the world can gloss over. You don't have that record in South Africa. You don't have that record in Egypt. So I beg to say Nigeria stands in a better position of demanding and speaking to the morality of the world to say, yes, at a time like this, it's about the timing, and it's about leveraging on the timing, and it's about leveraging on what we bring to the table. So I think those are the major points there.
An interesting, very interesting point you made there, especially on having boots on the ground always and being the big brother for other countries on the continent. But let's get back to the events you were talking about. Just give us more light, or shed more light on that event. What is it about? You talked about the Senate having events on the sideline.
Yeah, the Senate Committee on Reparations and Repatriation is chaired by the distinguished Senator Ned Nwoko, has put together a side event on the wings of hunger. And we took cognizance of the fact that the 12th of September is a significant day for reparations and colonization. And we also, as a first time of any Senate to come and have a program here in the African Hall, we're demanding that the colonizers of African countries should make a public apology and acknowledgement of the drawbacks that colonization has cost African countries, people of African descent, and the suffering that continues to be manifest. The nations that reparations were considered, Japan, China, but Nigeria, African countries are set to move on. For the first time, we have the approval of the Senate President, who knowledgeably, let me not say magnanimously, saw the importance of the program, and upon the moving of a motion on the floor of the House, created this committee chaired by distinguished Senator Ned. And this committee is having its own plenary sessions on the 14th of October, so that we can draw good attention to the issues. We're going to have delegates from African group of the United Nations. We're having delegates from the CARICOM group. And we're also having delegates from all around the critical stakeholders. And we're putting this together as a second tier, a second phase of having met at the African level, met the ambassadors from the different nations. And thereafter, the distinguished senator, who is an international figure known to hold the world to account, intends to proceed to court, the international court, to see that Nigeria and African countries and people of African descent get their justice.
And what does justice look like? Perhaps, again, just before you even answer, perhaps a membership seat, that permanent seat at the UNGA, because it's again another injustice not to have any African country on the United Nations Security Council. Yes. Perhaps that's one of the ways to right the wrong. But what would justice look like in terms of reparations?
Justice will begin with an apology. Thereafter, justice will mean institutional ways of addressing the fallouts of these issues. Justice will mean not approaching the issues like it's charity, but realizing that indeed the effects of colonialism and neo-colonialism continue to cause suffering in the areas of migration, the areas of repatriation. The committee is about repatriation and the committee is about reparations and repatriation. We're also talking about our artifacts. This administration has already done a lot when it comes to demands and recovering of a number of artifacts that are scattered all around the world. So it's a kind of, we are demanding a structured approach where reparations are given and repatriation of everything from our human to our resources, to even the funds, the slush funds that we have everywhere, all around the world, related to our crude, our stolen crude. You can't buy. There's an embargo on stolen diamond all over the world, but stolen crude from Nigeria continues to cross to places, and the funds are hidden all over the world. So we are demanding for the first time in a concerted way our rights.
Absolutely. And
before the world.
We'll stay with you. We'll continue to follow up with you and everyone who is involved in this from the Nigerian angle on this conversation. You said October 12th or October 14th. I'm sure we'll have this conversation. We'll have this conversation with you again. Thank you so much for your time, Commissioner, former Commissioner of Multilateral Relations, Abuja Office, Delta State Government, and Consultant Development Strategies, Communications and International Engagement to the Senator representing Delta North, Senator Ned Owoko. Gloria Okolugbo, thank you so much for your time.